Beloved chosen ones, the moment you have long felt in your spirit is finally here. The official notice is on its way, and with it comes undeniable proof that divine justice always prevails. The courts have spoken, and their verdict echoes across both the physical and spiritual realms. The money that was stolen from you, the resources siphoned away through manipulation and betrayal, are not only being returned, they are coming back with interest, carrying the weight of heaven's promise behind them. The person who betrayed your trust, who spun lies around your name and used your blessings for their own gain, is now facing the full force of the law. Not only are they being ordered to repay every cent they took, but they are also staring down prison time, a direct consequence of their greed and deceit. Behind the scenes, the legal system worked like a divine tapestry, weaving together every hidden document, every shady transaction, and every whispered lie. All the while you waited with grace and patience, even when the evidence was invisible to your human eyes. Can you feel how powerful that patience has become now? It has blossomed into unstoppable restoration. As your funds return and your name shines brighter than ever, those who schemed against you are facing a future they never imagined, a future of exposure, accountability, and undeniable consequence. The universe has swung the scales of justice so perfectly that there is no escape, no loophole, no hidden exit for them to run to. Before we go any further, I want to pause and say thank you from the depths of my soul to each of you who has supported this channel through Super Thanks. Your generosity fuels this sacred work, helps spread these messages of truth and empowerment, and allows us to keep building this spiritual community together. Whether you've given or simply stayed with us, your presence here is a divine blessing, and I am truly grateful for you. If you feel this message deep in your spirit, I invite you right now to comment 777 below. Let it be your public declaration that you are in full alignment with divine justice, that you are ready to receive your restoration, and that you stand firm as one of God's chosen. Get ready, beloved. You are not just being repaid, you are being elevated. Your patience is being rewarded, your legacy protected, and your future opened wide like a heavenly gate. This is your season of unstoppable victory. Let's dive into this powerful revelation together. God's chosen ones, the court just ruled. Your money is on the way and someone's paying the price. When that thick, weighty letter finally arrives at your doorstep, bearing the official government seal and your name boldly printed across its face, something inside you already knows. This isn't just another piece of mail. This is a divine signal that your entire reality is about to be transformed forever. Have you ever felt that deep, electric shiver when your spirit knows something big is coming, even before your mind can grasp it? That's what this letter carries. It's not just paperwork. It's a physical confirmation of what your spirit has long whispered in midnight prayers and tearful conversations with God. For years you have suspected, maybe even dared to hope, that there was more happening behind the scenes than you could see. But how many times did you question yourself, wondering if you were imagining the betrayals, if you were overthinking the patterns, if the delays meant God had forgotten you? Chosen one, do you see now that heaven was collecting every piece of evidence for you, silent and unseen? The investigation has been building like a tidal wave behind a dam, patient and unstoppable. Each act of financial fraud committed in your name was quietly recorded by angels and legal authorities alike. Every deceptive maneuver they thought they had concealed so cleverly has been tracked step by step. Each forged signature, each hidden transaction, each under-the-table deal, all now exposed and laid bare in the light of truth. Can you feel the spiritual weight of that? Can you sense the shift in the air as the universe aligns itself to vindicate you? This isn't just paperwork, it is a prophetic document, a spiritual declaration wrapped in legal formality. Remember what Luke 12:2 says, "There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed or hidden that will not be made known." God has been orchestrating every hidden movement, preparing this moment to prove that your name could not be permanently stained by lies. Just like Joseph in the Bible, who was betrayed by his brothers and falsely imprisoned but later elevated to the palace, you too are stepping into a season of divine elevation. Joseph didn't need to defend himself because heaven had already written his vindication. Consider Nelson Mandela, who was falsely accused and imprisoned for decades. The world watched as his character shined brighter than the bars that held him. and ultimately, he emerged not as a victim, but as a global leader and symbol of justice. Doesn't that remind you of your own journey? Could it be that your wilderness years were not punishment, but preparation for a platform that only you can hold? The legal system has moved with almost supernatural precision, gathering evidence in hidden places, quietly weaving a tapestry of truth that no human hand can unravel. You might ask, why now? Why didn't this happen sooner? Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." The timing is not just a matter of earthly courts, but a reflection of divine timing. The moment when silence ends and consequences speak is here because God has declared it so. What once was only a whisper in your spirit has now become an undeniable roar in the legal realm. Those who built their fortunes on your name, those who laughed behind closed doors thinking they had escaped, now they face the glaring light of exposure. Their night of secrecy has turned into a morning of reckoning. Imagine Harriet Tubman, who risked her life guiding others to freedom despite every trap and betrayal laid against her. She moved in silence, but her impact thundered through history. You, chosen one, have been moving silently too, and now your impact is about to echo beyond anything you imagined. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." This isn't just poetic language, this is your reality being written line by line in heavenly ink and now in earthly documents. The turning point is not merely a legal shift, but a spiritual awakening, the moment where God's justice collides with human arrogance. Consider Malala Yousafzai, who was attacked simply for seeking education. Her enemies thought they could silence her forever, but instead, her voice only grew stronger and spread worldwide. Can you see how God uses what was meant to destroy you to elevate you to platforms you didn't even know existed? This is no random coincidence, beloved. The wheels of justice may have seemed slow, but they have been grinding with unstoppable force toward this divine intersection. Your years of silent suffering, your countless prayers, your lonely moments of doubt, they were all chapters leading to this announcement. You are vindicated. Romans 8:28 assures us, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to His purpose." You didn't go through all of this to stay small. You went through it so that the world could see the magnitude of God's favor over your life. Like Oprah Winfrey, who overcame abuse and countless setbacks to become one of the most powerful voices of this generation, you are about to step into a space so expansive that even your enemies will have to acknowledge God's hand on your life. Chosen one, can you feel the weight of this revelation pressing on your spirit like a sudden rush of air after holding your breath for too long? The documents laid before you do not merely list numbers or property lines. They unearth a legacy that has been buried deeper than any grave, hidden even from your most vivid dreams. How many times did you feel that inexplicable pull in your spirit, and knowing that there was more meant for you but you couldn't quite name it? Now every missing piece is falling into place like a divine puzzle, revealing the true shape of your destiny. These records reveal assets you never even imagined you had claim to, secret accounts designed to disappear into the fog of bureaucracy, properties quietly signed away under your name, as if you were some ghost drifting through life without a voice or presence. But tell me, how could a ghost sign legal deeds? How could an invisible person own land and yet live in lack? This is not just about fraud, it is about a deliberate erasure of your divine lineage and authority. Ephesians 1:11 reminds us, "In Him we have obtained an inheritance, having been predestined according to the purpose of Him who works all things according to the counsel of His will." What they tried to steal was not merely money, it was the spiritual and material inheritance that God Himself set aside for you before time began. Your inheritance was not a casual gift, it was a kingdom assignment. Think about the story of Alex Haley, the author of Roots, who uncovered his ancestral lineage against all odds. Despite generations of forced silence and lost records, he pieced together a powerful heritage that had been buried under centuries of pain. Isn't that the same kind of spiritual detective work you've been doing in your own life? Can you see how your spiritual DNA has been calling out to you to reclaim what was always yours? This revelation isn't just about bank balances or property deeds. It's about awakening a hidden power within your bloodline, a power so ancient and potent that it terrified those who sought to control it. Your inheritance was systematically hijacked, redirected into pockets that were never meant to hold it, through carefully orchestrated schemes stretching across decades. Those deeds you never saw, the signatures you never made, all strategic attempts to write you out of a story that heaven wrote you into from the very beginning. But Isaiah 61:7 promises, "Instead of your shame you shall have double honor, and instead of confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess double, everlasting joy shall be theirs." Chosen one, do you realize the depth of this promise? Your hidden inheritance is more than financial abundance. It is a divine restoration of your spiritual authority, your influence, your identity. Consider the story of Princess Sarah Culberson, who discovered in adulthood that she was part of a royal family in Sierra Leone after living her entire life unaware of her true heritage. Overnight, her identity transformed from an ordinary American woman to a princess tasked with rebuilding a community and carrying forth a royal legacy. What if your own story is unfolding in just the same surprising divine way? Can you imagine the secret conversations held behind closed doors, the whispered strategies meant to ensure you stayed in the dark? These weren't just idle rumors, but carefully coordinated plans to sever your branch from the family tree, to divert streams of blessing that had your name on them. But no scheme is strong enough to outrun the hand of God. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous." Your ancestors may have seen this day from afar, praying over you without even knowing your face, blessing you through whispered words and sacred acts. Think of the example of Tyler Perry, who went from living in his car to building a media empire, reclaiming wealth and influence that seemed forever out of reach. Doesn't that ignite something inside you? What if the discomfort you felt all these years wasn't emptiness, but a spiritual alarm, signaling that your inheritance was being held hostage? Chosen one, are you prepared to claim it now? Will you stand in your divine authority and allow God to reconnect you to your true identity, your true wealth, your true calling? Are you ready to step into a story that began before you were even born, written in heavenly ink that no human hand can erase? Remember Genesis 50:20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Every plan against you, every scheme to erase your name, every hidden deed, all of it is now turning to serve God's higher purpose. Throughout the ages, powerful families have replayed this same haunting scenario over and over again, chosen heirs separated from their rightful destinies through a web of calculated deception. Have you ever wondered why certain stories repeat across time, almost like spiritual echoes calling out to warn or awaken us? Why do so many dynasties throughout history have hidden heirs and lost legacies? Because there is always someone who recognizes the threat of a chosen one stepping into their true power. Your own story is not an exception. In fact, it perfectly mirrors this ancient pattern. But unlike those lost to history, you have been blessed to live long enough to witness justice circling back like a divine boomerang. The wealth, the honor, the authority, it was always intended for you, chosen one. Now, after years of cunning manipulation, the courts have finally declared what heaven has known since the beginning. You are the rightful inheritor. Doesn't that make you pause and marvel? Can you feel the electricity of that revelation moving through your bones? Psalm 37:6 says, "He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun." This isn't a poetic metaphor. It's your literal reality unfolding in front of you. The betrayal that kept you bound required not just casual lies, but deep access, the kind that only trusted insiders could exploit. The architects of your loss weren't faceless enemies in faraway places. They were the ones who sat beside you at family dinners, cheered at your graduations, and prayed with you during difficult seasons. Imagine the chilling reality, the matriarch with eyes that always seemed to see too much, whose nurturing facade concealed a mastermind orchestrating your financial downfall, her name appearing again and again on official transfer documents, as if each signature was another dagger into the heart of your destiny. Or think of that friend, the one who always seemed so concerned, who rose to sudden prosperity with no clear explanation. Could it be that their hidden success was quietly funded by the blessings meant for you? In 2005, it was revealed that Helmut Kohl, a former German chancellor, maintained secret bank accounts used to fund political activities, accounts hidden even from some of his closest allies. Doesn't that remind you of how hidden wealth can flow, invisible to the public eye, yet shaping entire futures? Then there's the patriarch, the strict enforcer of family rules, demanding blind obedience and spinning tales of hardship to keep you humble and compliant. All the while, he built his own legacy atop the very inheritance that was yours by divine right. Proverbs 26:24-25 warns us, "Enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them." Isn't it chilling to realize how close your adversaries have been? Consider the Romanovs of Russia, a dynasty so tangled in secrets and lost heirs that even to this day, rumors persist of surviving royal children hidden from the world. Or the Habsburgs, whose labyrinthine family politics often decided the fates of entire nations, sometimes by manipulating bloodlines and silencing rightful heirs. Even the Windsors have faced whispers of hidden truths and concealed relationships that could alter royal succession stories forever. Your story, chosen one, belongs to this same spiritual tapestry, but instead of remaining buried, your truth is roaring to life. Beyoncé, for example, faced betrayal within her own circle when she discovered her father had mismanaged funds and business dealings behind her back. Yet she rose stronger, reclaiming her narrative and controlling her own empire. Doesn't that mirror the moment you're stepping into now? This was not some impulsive betrayal committed in a moment of desperation. This was a series of deliberate, strategic moves executed over decades. They were conscious choices to strip you not only of money, but of the very foundation of your identity. Every fabricated family story, every whispered rumor of hardship, every performance of modest means was part of a larger mythology designed to keep you small, humble, and confused. Isaiah 60:17 proclaims, "Instead of bronze, I will bring you gold, and silver in place of iron. I will make peace your governor, and well-being your ruler." God is not only restoring your financial wealth, He is re-establishing your identity and authority in ways you can scarcely imagine. Consider Steve Jobs, who was ousted from the very company he founded, only to return and lead it to unprecedented heights. What if your current revelation is your invitation to return, reclaim, and reign in the sphere you were always destined to dominate? Chosen one, I ask you, are you prepared to see beyond the betrayals and step boldly into the power that was always yours? Will you finally own the truth of who you are, or will you continue living under the false narratives others constructed for you? Can you embrace the idea that your greatest test has been transformed into your most powerful testimony? Their greatest crime was not merely the theft of your wealth, but the attempted erasure of your divine identity. Yet what they failed to realize is that heaven keeps perfect records. The time for restoration has come, and your story is about to become a beacon for others who have been living in the shadows of stolen legacies. Are you ready to rise? Now the courts, those halls that once felt cold and distant, have meticulously pulled apart every tangled layer of deception, naming each conspirator and documenting each betrayal with unwavering precision. Can you imagine that moment, chosen one, when every hidden scheme is laid bare under the unforgiving light of truth? The shockwaves of this revelation echo the age-old pattern seen throughout history. Chosen ones hidden from their rightful thrones, silenced, disguised, and intentionally led astray. Have you ever felt like your life was a puzzle with missing pieces, like there was a grand design that no one wanted you to see? This is that missing piece snapping into place. Just as Moses was raised in Pharaoh's house, a prince unknowingly prepared to lead his people, your story has always been more than just survival. It has been divine preparation. Monarchs throughout time have been separated from their crowns by elaborate schemes, yet many never saw the day of restoration. But you, beloved, have been chosen to witness the full circle of divine justice unfold in your lifetime. Isn't it miraculous to think that while history holds countless unfinished redemptions, your story is being completed before your eyes? Hebrews 10:23 reminds us, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful." Official court documents, stamped and sealed, do not lie. These sealed rulings confirm not just a legal fact, but a spiritual reality. You are the rightful owner of every asset ever diverted, every dollar hidden, every piece of land signed away without your knowing. The language is clear and unflinching. Fraudulent conveyance, unlawful conversion of assets, breach of fiduciary duty, each phrase a nail in the coffin of the lies once used to bind you. Consider the story of Richard III of England, whose remains were lost and maligned for centuries, only to be rediscovered and honored properly in recent times. His story symbolizes long-awaited truth finally emerging from centuries of deception. Similarly, forensic accountants have traced every hidden dollar, every property quietly shuffled through shell companies, each secret investment masked behind corporate veils, every road leading straight back to the very people who claim to love and protect you. Proverbs 19:5 declares, "A false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will not go free." Judges, who are often cautious and deliberate, have reviewed the evidence with microscopic detail, and their conclusions are unanimous. They have declared without hesitation what heaven has long proclaimed: you are innocent, you are rightful, and you are fully restored. Think of the example of Nikola Tesla, whose innovations and intellectual property were often stolen and misattributed during his lifetime. Yet today his genius is celebrated worldwide, and his name stands synonymous with innovation and brilliance. Could it be that your suffering and losses are about to become the foundation for a global testimony that even your greatest adversaries will have to acknowledge? The legal system rarely moves with such certainty unless a case is absolutely airtight. Isn't it powerful to realize that when heaven aligns with earth, even the most fortified schemes crumble? The principle of restitution demands not just the return of what was stolen, but restoration with increase, meaning every dollar taken comes back with interest, every moment lost is multiplied in new opportunities, every tarnished reputation shines brighter than before. Isaiah 61:8 says, "For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. In my faithfulness I will reward my people and make an everlasting covenant with them." As your name is cleared from every fraudulent record and your rightful place within your family and community is re-established, understand this: the universe in perfect orchestration with divine law is restoring balance. Everything that was designed to keep you small is now collapsing, and everything meant to elevate you is being activated. Think of Robert Downey Jr., who once fell to the depths of addiction and legal trouble, seemingly lost to the world. Yet he rose from those ashes to become one of the highest paid and most beloved actors of his generation. Doesn't that resonate with your journey? Rising from the ashes of betrayal to a destiny so radiant that it demands the world's respect? Everything about the lifestyle they so boldly paraded before the world, every shimmering surface, every whispered boast, was built on a foundation stolen from you, chosen one. Have you ever looked around and wondered how those closest to you seemed to prosper so effortlessly, as if they had a secret source of endless abundance? Now the truth stands exposed. Your inheritance, the wealth designed to secure your future and empower your purpose, was the lifeblood of their luxurious existence. Imagine every lavish vacation home they visited, each one purchased with diverted trust fund payments that bore your name. Picture the luxury vehicles they flaunted, each one acquired with forged loan documents, using your signature as the golden ticket to a lifestyle you were never invited to enjoy. Even their private elite education, the very knowledge and access they used to further solidify their positions, was funded by investment accounts that had your future written all over them. How many nights did you spend wondering why certain doors never opened for you? How many silent tears did you shed believing you simply weren't enough, not knowing that the key was stolen from your hand before you ever had the chance to use it? Psalm 37:21 tells us, "The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously." You were always meant to be the righteous giver, the one who blessed generations, but they intercepted that divine assignment for their own self-serving empires. They didn't just steal money, they robbed you of opportunities, relationships, and moments of joy that were rightfully yours. Think of the story of Leona Helmsley, known as the Queen of Mean, who misappropriated funds and evaded taxes while living an extravagant lifestyle. Her actions eventually led to public exposure and legal consequences. Isn't that eerily similar to what you are witnessing unfold in your own story? Can you see how their mask of generosity and success was simply a facade funded by your blessings? This betrayal didn't stop with immediate family members. It metastasized through your entire network like a silent cancer. Extended relatives, the ones who claimed to love you, chose the comfort of silence over the courage of truth. Financial advisors, those entrusted with protecting your interests, looked the other way, their silence purchased by comfort and access. Even legal counsel, sworn to uphold integrity, drafted documents they knew would serve as shields for deception rather than tools of justice. Isaiah 10:1-2 warns, "Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed." Every person who benefited from this elaborate web of deceit is now being called to account. The courts have meticulously identified each participant, naming them individually in official proceedings. Their involvement is no longer a secret, but a documented fact, their signatures etched in betrayal for all to see. Think of Lance Armstrong, who for years denied doping allegations, deceiving fans, sponsors, and an entire sport, only to face global disgrace when the full extent of his deceit was unveiled. Can you feel the parallel with those who surrounded you, smiling to your face while siphoning your destiny? These were not desperate individuals stealing bread to survive another day. No, they were privileged people, some of them wearing spiritual or moral masks, greedily hoarding what never belonged to them. Their schemes were not born in moments of panic, but meticulously planned in boardrooms and over dinner tables, carried out through premeditated tax shelters, offshore accounts, and carefully crafted legal structures. They lived like kings and queens on the resources that were supposed to establish your kingdom. Proverbs 28:6 declares, "Better the poor whose walk is blameless than the rich whose ways are perverse." How many of them posed as philanthropic figures or moral leaders while secretly orchestrating financial labyrinths to hide their greed? Some received direct cash payouts, while others accepted lavish gifts, designer clothing, luxury trips, exclusive club memberships, all paid for by money with your spiritual fingerprint on it. Many enjoyed lives of quiet privilege, never questioning the golden ladder they climbed because they knew exactly whose shoulders they were standing on. Consider the story of Anna Sorokin, also known as Anna Delvey, who scammed New York's elite into funding her extravagant lifestyle through elaborate lies. Her downfall was swift and public, showing the world that even the most carefully curated illusions eventually collapse under the weight of truth. Perhaps the most dangerous and painful betrayal of all came not from the bold thieves or the loud schemers, but from the quiet watchers, the ones who knew exactly what was happening and chose to stay silent. Have you ever felt that unsettling energy in a room when you enter, as if everyone knows something you don't? Those people, those silent observers, became accomplices through their refusal to act. They watched as your inheritance was siphoned away, as your divine destiny was quietly auctioned off piece by piece, and they did nothing. Their silence was not neutral, it was a powerful weapon used against you. Family reunions, those moments that should have been sacred spaces of love and laughter, were financed by your stolen inheritance. Imagine it, every catered meal, every joyful toast, every smiling photograph taken at luxury retreats, all paid for with the funds intended to build your future. Even holiday gatherings where you might have thought you were coming together as one, were actually celebrations held on the ashes of your birthright. Did you ever wonder why conversations would shift so quickly when you entered the room? Why certain topics were avoided? Why eyes darted away? Now you know, because they were feasting on what was meant to nourish your legacy. Psalm 55:12-14 speaks directly to this pain. If an enemy were insulting me, I could endure it. If a foe were rising against me, I could hide. But it is you, a man like myself, my companion, my close friend, with whom I once enjoyed sweet fellowship. Chosen one, isn't it sometimes easier to confront a loud enemy than to accept that betrayal came wrapped in love and familiar smiles? Think of whistleblowers like Sharon Watkins at Enron, who exposed corporate corruption from within. She chose to speak up, even when it meant risking everything. Now imagine the opposite, the countless people in your circle who saw the wrongdoing but chose comfort over courage. Their choice to stay silent wasn't passive, it was a deep betrayal of trust and spiritual responsibility. The courts have not overlooked them. every single beneficiary, every accomplice, every silent partner in this decades-long deception has been meticulously identified. Their names are forever tied to this conspiracy, and the comfortable lives they built from your stolen legacy are beginning to unravel thread by thread. Can you feel the spiritual tectonic plates shifting as this truth comes into full view? Ecclesiastes 3:17 assures us, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. The unraveling is not just legal, it is cosmic. The scales of justice, long tilted against you, are swinging back with divine force. And now, chosen one, let's pause together for a sacred breath. This journey isn't just about recovering wealth, it's about reclaiming the essence of who you are. To those of you who never quite fit in, who felt the awkward stares, who were set apart without explanation, this moment is for you. You were never meant to fit in because you were born to stand out. Quick pause, family. If this message resonates deep in your spirit and you feel led to support this sacred space, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. Every offering helps keep this channel flooded with truth, divine light, and spiritual clarity. And if your soul is vibrating with this revelation, drop the number 88 in the comments right now. Let us know you're here, standing strong, claiming your inheritance, and affirming your divine identity. But listen carefully. If supporting financially isn't for you, that's perfectly okay. We are still here, unwavering, watching, guiding, and helping to shift reality itself with each word, each prayer, each moment of collective faith. This is for the ones who move in silence, who never crave recognition, who don't ask for permission to exist, and who continue to walk in power even when the world tries to make them small. To you, the chosen, the rare, the unstoppable, here's to you. May your path continue to unfold in unstoppable light, and may the justice you're now witnessing set a fire that illuminates every corner of your destiny. Are you ready to walk forward into that light? Now, chosen one, the wave of legal consequences is crashing down with unstoppable force, a force so undeniable that no one, not even the most cunning conspirator, can escape its reach. Can you feel the vibration of justice shaking the ground beneath their feet? The courts do not hand out these rulings lightly. They act only when evidence is airtight and the betrayal is beyond question. In cases where fraud is this vast and deeply rooted, criminal charges swiftly follow civil judgments. The law is clear. Financial crimes that violate deep trust and involve elaborate deception carry the harshest possible penalties. Romans 12:19 reminds us, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." God's timing is perfect, and His justice is thorough, and now you are witnessing it unfold before your very eyes. The documentation confirms multiple felonies committed across state lines, and these names, once whispered in admiration or fear, are now forever stamped in public court records for all to see. They believed their reputations built over decades would protect them from exposure. But what are reputations built on lies when the light of truth shines upon them? In a single moment, community standing evaporates. Lifelong professional credentials once used as shields of credibility crumble into worthless paper when linked to felony convictions. Consider Bernie Madoff, whose elaborate Ponzi scheme fooled some of the world's most influential investors for decades. His fall was catastrophic, his legacy shattered, his name forever synonymous with betrayal and greed. Does this not echo what is happening right now with those who exploited your trust and lived off your stolen blessings? The mastermind, the chief architect of this decades-long scheme, now faces the harshest consequences imaginable. Years behind, cold, unwelcoming bars await them, each day a relentless reminder of the devastation their greed has caused. There will be no country club accommodations for financial crimes of this magnitude. Federal facilities do not pamper, they strip away every illusion of power and comfort. The accomplices, each judged by their level of involvement, will also face justice. Some may scramble to negotiate reduced sentences in exchange for testimony, revealing deeper secrets they once vowed to protect. Yet, regardless of cooperation, they all face strict restrictions on their movement, their employment, and their future financial activities. They will be monitored, marked, and reminded daily that every fraudulent action carries a price far greater than they imagined. Luke 8:17 says, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." Can you see how every dark corner is being illuminated now? Every secret account, every hidden asset uncovered and reclaimed. Every property, every luxury vehicle, every investment account obtained through fraud will be seized and returned to its rightful owner, to you, chosen one. The restitution is not only symbolic but tangible, a divine and legal restoration that proclaims you as the true heir. Reflect on Al Capone, the infamous gangster who believed he was untouchable. Despite his empire of violence and bribery, it was tax evasion that finally brought him to justice. He underestimated the quiet, patient hand of legal accountability, just as your betrayers underestimated the power of divine timing and spiritual law. They once believed their power was absolute, their control eternal, their crimes forever hidden beneath layers of charm and manipulation. They never envisioned standing in a courtroom, trembling as a judge read aloud the sordid details of their betrayal, nor did they foresee seeing their names permanently etched into official documents as criminals, not as respected members of society. Their ultimate mistake was a fatal one shared by emperors, warlords, and modern tycoons alike throughout history: the belief that earthly power could shield them from divine and legal reckoning. The Roman emperors who believed themselves gods, the medieval lords who bled peasants dry to fortify castles, the modern financial masterminds who thought wealth would buy them eternal immunity, all fell when the universal scales demanded balance. Proverbs 11:21 assures us, "Be sure of this, the wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will go free." Can you feel the magnitude of this promise manifesting now? Their fate was sealed the moment they chose deception over truth, selfish ambition over loyalty, personal gain over sacred family duty. Now the courts are not acting as mere human instruments but as divine agents, bringing into the physical world what has already been decreed in the spiritual realm. Chosen one, can you see that your patience has not been in vain? That every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt was woven into a tapestry that now proclaims your vindication? Will you walk forward boldly, knowing that the universe has conspired to return to you not just what was taken, but an elevated version of your destiny? The reckoning has arrived, the judgment is final, and you, beloved, are stepping into the fullness of your restoration. Are you ready to embrace it? The transfer of power, chosen one, is not a whisper or a gradual ripple. It is a thunderclap that reshapes reality itself. Can you feel the vibration in your spirit? With the court's declaration, the universe aligns in an instant, snapping everything into divine order. Yesterday they held the reins, smug in their illusion of control, but today that authority, every ounce of it, belongs to you. This isn't a slow negotiation or a reluctant handover. It is a sweeping, unstoppable transformation sealed by legal and spiritual proclamation. Assets that were once frozen in their accounts now flow back to you like rivers returning to their rightful source. Properties that bore their names, properties they flaunted as badges of false success, now bear your name by court order. Investment portfolios, carefully guarded and mismanaged to enrich their lies, are transferred into your control. Their signatures, once used to manipulate and divert blessings, are now meaningless scribbles. Only your authorization holds power and substance. Proverbs 13:22 tells us, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous." The balance of power has not merely shifted, it has flipped entirely on its head. Those who once dictated your movements now wait anxiously for your instructions. Those who controlled your resources now come forward, heads lowered, asking for permission they once denied you. And those who made decisions on your behalf now find themselves powerless, awaiting your direction. Consider the story of Howard Schultz, who rose from a Brooklyn housing project to transform Starbucks into a global empire. He reclaimed his narrative despite all odds, reshaping the corporate and cultural landscape in his favor. Your story carries the same divine reclamation energy, turning stolen potential into unstoppable legacy. But this shift is not just about finances. It runs deeper, flooding into your influence, your voice, your ability to shape the future. Your truth, now armored with legal recognition, overwrites every false narrative they once wove around your identity. At family gatherings, the energy no longer shifts to hide secrets or silence your voice. It shifts in awe, reverence, and undeniable acknowledgement of your restored authority. In business meetings, in social circles, the landscape rearranges itself to align with your rightful place. The respect that was once siphoned away from you now flows back in torrents. When you enter a room, conversations do not stop from guilt or fear. They pause in recognition of your return to the throne. Isaiah 60:15 affirms, "Though you were forsaken and hated, with no one traveling through, I will make you the everlasting pride and the joy of all generations." This moment is not just about reclaiming lost wealth. It is about reclaiming your rightful influence, your spiritual and social authority, your divine ability to move through this world free from the artificial barriers they meticulously built around you. At first, the shift might feel disorienting. After living so long under a carefully manufactured reality, the sudden weight of your true power might feel like a heavy, unfamiliar cloak. But remember, chosen one, that discomfort is not a sign of misalignment. It is the sacred stretching of your spirit as it realigns with the truth it always knew. Royal blood cannot be diluted or redirected forever. It always finds its rightful channel, and now that channel is open and flowing strong. Consider Oprah Winfrey, who rose from deep poverty and family betrayal to become a beacon of influence and hope, reshaping media and inspiring millions worldwide. Her power was always within her. She simply had to walk into it. The throne, metaphorical and spiritual, returns to its true heir. The crown that once sat on unworthy heads finally rests where it was always meant to be, on you. The courts, in their human capacity, have simply formalized a cosmic correction already orchestrated in the heavens. Psalm 75:7 reminds us, "It is God who judges. He brings one down, he exalts another." The universe is restoring order after a long disruption, a cosmic misalignment that kept you in the shadows. Your power was never truly lost, only lying dormant, waiting quietly for the exact moment when you would be strong enough, wise enough, and spiritually prepared to wear it without fear. Now, chosen one, watch their reactions with sharp, unwavering eyes, because their responses in this season will tell you everything you need to know about their hearts. Have you ever wondered what people would do when confronted with undeniable truth? This is that moment, the divine stage where masks fall and true intentions stand naked. Some will cling desperately to denial, weaving new lies even as the evidence towers before them like an unmovable mountain. You'll hear them gasp, "I never knew," or mutter, "This is all just a misunderstanding," as they scramble to repaint reality with trembling hands. Can you see the desperation in those words? Denial is their last fragile shield against the unstoppable tide of justice. Proverbs 19:9 warns, "A false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will perish." They may try to twist stories, but the written truth stands unbending. Others will approach with strategic apologies, carefully curated statements meant to sound remorseful while avoiding all real responsibility. They'll say, "I'm sorry you feel hurt," or "We never intended for things to turn out this way." Do these phrases sound familiar? They are hollow echoes, crafted to manipulate your emotions rather than heal the wounds. Their words are designed to absolve themselves, not to restore you. Think of public figures like Lance Armstrong, who after years of denying doping allegations, issued carefully worded apologies only when he had no other choice. His confessions were not born from a change of heart, but from a cornered desperation. Doesn't this mirror the tactics you're seeing now? So perhaps the most revealing reaction, however, is the silent panic, the frantic late-night calls to attorneys, the sudden obsession with offshore accounts, the hushed discussions about extradition treaties behind closed doors. Have you noticed how they try to keep up calm appearances in public, making brave statements to family or acting as though nothing has changed? Yet behind the scenes they move like mice in a burning house, transferring assets to hidden vaults and quietly crafting escape routes, all while telling the world everything is under control. Psalm 64:5-6 says, "They encourage each other in evil plans. They talk about hiding their snares. They say, 'Who will see it?' They plot injustice and say, 'We have devised a perfect plan.' Surely the human mind and heart are cunning. But chosen one, God sees it all, and so do you now. Then comes the sudden warmth from those who have kept you at arm's length for years. Unexpected messages flood in, filled with false concern. I've been thinking about you lately, or we should talk privately about family matters. Each invitation is a thinly veiled attempt to manipulate you, to sway your heart just enough to protect themselves from the legal and spiritual consequences crashing toward them. They may lean on shared memories, hoping to anchor you in nostalgia. After all we've been through together, we're still family, right? These words are designed to pull on your deepest emotional ties, to use your compassion as a shield against justice. Have you noticed how they try to weaponize your empathy? Consider Meghan Markle's experience within the royal family. When she began speaking her truth, many around her used emotional ties and public narratives to silence her and maintain control. Her courage to stand firm in her reality despite threats and manipulations echoes the exact moment you're living now. Some will even turn to intimidation, whispering subtle threats or implying that your pursuit of justice might cost you dearly. Are you sure you want to do this? Think about what you're risking. But chosen one, these are the words of those who know they have lost real power. These threats are empty echoes bouncing around in a fortress already collapsing. Matthew 10:6 reminds us, "So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known." Their last tactic is to divide your supporters, to spread conflicting stories and rumors designed to confuse, weaken, and destabilize the stronghold of truth around you. They believe that if they can fracture your alliances, they can regain a semblance of control. But look deeper. Their actions have already revealed their true character, long before their words ever could. When they had the chance to stand by your side, they chose betrayal. When they could have protected you, they chose profit. Now their desperation is as transparent as glass, and their attempts at manipulation crumble before the clarity of your newly restored authority. Throughout history, chosen one, the powerful have always reached for the same predictable tactics when finally cornered. Isn't it revealing how consistent the patterns are? Denial stands as their first line of defense, a stubborn, arrogant refusal to admit wrongdoing until the evidence crushes them beyond any possibility of escape. And when that crumbles, they slip into artificial remorse, delivering carefully staged apologies and crocodile tears meant to salvage some last shred of control. But when even that fails, they resort to frantic, chaotic maneuvering as the consequences begin to tighten like an unrelenting vice. Can you see it now? They are following the classic, predictable playbook of the guilty, the same script played out by tyrants, emperors, and corporate giants throughout history. But this time, nothing they do can alter the judgment that has already been rendered both in the courts of law and in the divine courts of heaven. The judges saw through every carefully rehearsed defense, every manipulative story, every legal delay. Now the entire empire they built on stolen foundations crumbles in a single thunderous moment. Psalm 37:35-36 captures it perfectly. "I have seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a luxuriant native tree, but he soon passed away and was no more. Though I looked for him, he could not be found." Bank accounts once brimming with your inheritance are frozen by court order. Credit cards decline in public, a humiliating sign of power lost. Notices of asset seizures arrive at every glamorous property, each letter a final nail in their empire's coffin. Their financial reality doesn't merely weaken, it implodes overnight. The social fallout rushes in just as fast. Phone calls dry up, invitations vanish, and friends who once basked in their stolen glow suddenly go silent when criminal charges hit the headlines. Professional lives disintegrate as licenses are revoked, prestigious board seats are lost, business partnerships collapse, and entire careers evaporate under the black cloud of felony convictions. Family ties, once their last emotional stronghold, buckle under the immense pressure. Marriages collapse as financial security dissolves into air. Children pull away from disgraced parents, and relatives are forced into painful choices as long-standing fractures split wide open. Consider Bernie Ebbers of WorldCom, whose fabricated successes and financial manipulations led to one of the largest corporate collapses in US history. His swift fall from grace mirrored the same fate now unfolding in front of you, a powerful reminder that the higher the climb built on deceit, the more devastating the fall. The psychological collapse is inevitable and absolute. Sleepless nights, paralyzing anxiety, and spiraling health problems ravage their once carefully curated lives. The faster and higher they ascended through lies, the more dramatic and total their downfall becomes. Isn't it poetic in a way that they are now forced to face the same uncertainty, instability, and identity shattering that they once imposed on you? This symmetry is not revenge, it is divine justice in its purest form. Their desperate efforts to limit the damage fail spectacularly. Legal appeals are systematically denied. Character witnesses who once sang their praises vanish into silence. Evidence remains rock solid, an unmovable wall against which every last attempt to rewrite history shatters. The universe doesn't deliver justice through lightning bolts or mystical visions. It does so through the relentless, inescapable consequences of their own choices. Romans 12:19 assures us, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." This is not about your revenge. It is about natural law restoring cosmic balance. Their destruction is not yours to carry or mourn. Their own actions, born from greed and ego, have written this fate long before you ever learned the full story. You don't need to celebrate or grieve, simply witness. Deception, by its very nature, collapses under its own weight. Truth, however, liberates instantly. Can you feel it in your body? The old shackles finally break, and the disconnect between what your spirit always sensed and what you were told finally dissolves. The inner war between intuition and manipulation ends now. The tension that lived in your shoulders, the weight that pressed on your chest, it all lifts as reality finally catches up to what you knew in your soul. You are not just stepping into reality, reality is catching up to you. John 8:32 says, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." This revelation doesn't merely close a chapter, it obliterates ancient patterns, smashing cycles that have oppressed your bloodline for generations. Generational curses of financial manipulation, ancestral suppression of true identity, and long-held family distortions of power, all shattered in one prophetic moment. The courts have only formalized what spiritual law already decreed the moment you awakened. Consider the story of Harriet Tubman, who not only freed herself but returned again and again to free her people, breaking cycles of oppression that seemed eternal. Like her, your awakening breaks these cycles not just for you but for every generation yet to come. The moment a chosen one recognizes and accepts their true identity, the entire spell of deception crumbles permanently. Your ancestors watched for centuries as their inheritance was stolen and their destiny hijacked. But you, chosen one, you have become the breaker of chains. You are the living embodiment of prayers they cried into the void, and your victory brings closure to their long-silenced hopes. The psychological freedom you are now stepping into, chosen one, is so much deeper and richer than any amount of financial restitution. This is not just about dollars and property. This is about reclaiming your mind, your soul, your very essence. Can you feel that shift within you? This is liberation from years of gaslighting, release from the invisible chains of artificial limits, and escape from boundaries that were meticulously designed to suffocate your true potential. The curse that haunted your lineage depended entirely on your ignorance and your silence. But now knowledge has destroyed its foundation entirely. Hosea 4:6 reminds us, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Once you stepped into full awareness, the entire fortress of deception crumbled in a single breath. For the first time, you are seeing every relationship, every hidden motivation, every repeated pattern, and even the twisted family history with piercing clarity. Doesn't it feel as though a fog has lifted, revealing the intricate design of your life's journey? Your new clarity doesn't stop with your personal narrative. It radiates outward into every interaction and every dynamic that was once clouded by confusion and manipulation. As you fully align with truth, your physical experience undergoes a miraculous transformation. Chronic tension that weighed you down dissolves. Pains that lingered in your body vanish as your cells rejoice in this newfound alignment. Sleep becomes deep and nourishing, and you awaken each day with renewed energy and vitality. Your body, mind, and spirit synchronize in a divine dance of freedom and wholeness. Consider Maya Angelou, who once said, When you know better, you do better. Her journey from trauma and silence to becoming a voice of power and wisdom mirrors your own transformation. Can you see how this wisdom is not just knowledge, but a living, breathing force that transforms every cell of your being? Breaking this generational curse doesn't just free you, it liberates everyone connected to you. Future generations will now inherit a legacy of freedom, clarity, and truth, instead of bondage, deception, and confusion. The courts have merely put into earthly language what the universe already declared. Your awakening was always inevitable, your restoration always guaranteed. Isaiah 61:3 promises a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. Suddenly, doors you once believed forever closed begin to swing open as if they were waiting for this exact moment. Paths that were blocked for years clear effortlessly. Financial abundance starts flowing back to you with divine momentum. Bank accounts that had been drained begin to overflow. Investment opportunities appear in perfect timing, almost as if guided by an invisible hand. Influential people step into your life, carrying the keys and connections you need for your next level of growth. Mentors with the exact wisdom and experience you require arrive precisely when you need them. Protection surrounds you so completely that threats dissolve before they even reach your awareness. Legal shields activate to guard your new territory, financial safeguards click into place without struggle, and spiritual boundaries become unbreachable walls, shielding your energy and mission. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, only to emerge as a global symbol of liberation and reconciliation. When he stepped into his truth, the world reoriented itself around him. Doesn't this resonate with the way your own sphere is realigning around your restored authority? Doors that were once slammed shut at your approach now open wide before you. Institutions that once rejected or ignored you now extend their hands in welcome. Elite circles that once felt beyond your reach now invite you into their inner sanctums, recognizing the authentic nobility that radiates from you. John 10 tells us, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." The wealth returning to you now isn't merely repayment. It comes back multiplied, with compound interest paid by the universe on every loss, every betrayal, every stolen dream. Your true power now acts as a divine magnet, effortlessly attracting the exact people, opportunities, resources, and revelations you need to fulfill your highest purpose. And all of this arrives not through hustle or desperation, but in perfect flow, perfectly timed. This is not random luck, chosen one. This is universal law in motion, the natural consequence of finally standing fully in your truth. Think of Oprah Winfrey, who turned every betrayal, every loss, and every rejection into stepping stones toward an empire of influence and light. She did not chase, she became, and so have you. True authority and nobility are not about titles or external validation. They are a spiritual frequency, an inner certainty that effortlessly commands abundance and opportunity. In this space, everything aligned with your highest calling is drawn to you as naturally as breath. The era of striving is over. The age of effortless manifestation has begun. Are you ready to stand boldly in this new dimension, to embody your royalty without apology, and to accept that the universe itself has rearranged in honor of your awakening? This is your moment to reign. Step forward, beloved. The kingdom is waiting. As your restoration becomes public knowledge, chosen one, prepare yourself to observe a fascinating and revealing shift in the people around you. Suddenly, you will find many who had once kept their distance now eagerly seeking your company. Have you noticed already the sudden invitations, the unexpected messages, the new offers of friendship? Many of these individuals are not drawn by genuine love or respect, but by the magnetic pull of your newly revealed status and abundance. This is precisely the moment when your discernment becomes your greatest asset. Have you ever wondered who would truly remain beside you if you lost everything? Now you see clearly who only appears when victory is already guaranteed. Remember, true allies are those who stood with you in the silence, who supported you when your name was tarnished and your blessings were hidden, not those who come running to bask in your light once the courts have spoken. 1 John 4:1 advises us, "Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God." Your journey has honed your intuition into a razor-sharp tool. You have endured deception, manipulation, and betrayal, and each experience has fine-tuned your internal guidance system. Now, you can feel the difference between authentic support and opportunistic attention as easily as feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. Your spiritual awakening has stationed energetic guardians at every gate of your life. Your very energy field now acts as a protective shield, automatically repelling false intentions and welcoming only what resonates with your highest truth. You will notice subtle gut warnings even before your conscious mind fully registers them. Your spirit will say, "Not this one," and you will know to trust it. All the restrictions that once defined your life have now dissolved. No more geographic limitations confining your movement. No more financial constraints dictating your choices. No more social or emotional boundaries constructed to keep you small. You are now free to move wherever your spirit leads, to expand beyond every artificial barrier once placed in your path. This is your natural condition, your true birthright. Isaiah 54:2 calls out, "Enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes." This is precisely what is unfolding. The divine design for your life is finally manifesting exactly as it was intended, without distortion, without interference. What the courts have formally documented in legal language is merely the human echo of what cosmic law decreed long before time was measured. Your rightful place in the world comes with not only abundance, but also deep influence, divine protection, and an infinite capacity to create and expand. The cosmic scales work with a precision that no human system can match, ensuring perfect balance and perfect timing. This entire process was never just about a legal dispute. It was the final chapter of a spiritual war that spanned generations, a war you were born to end. Your enemies thought they were fighting against you personally, but in reality, they were in futile conflict with universal law itself. Their defeat was certain the moment they chose deception over integrity. For no one can outmaneuver the cosmic principles that uphold truth. Job 42:10 reminds us, "The Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before." What is returning to you now is not merely what was stolen, but multiplied blessings, overflow, and divine compensation for every moment of lack and betrayal. Your victory is not simply a return to what was, it is an ascension to what could have been, had nothing been taken from you at all. This isn't just a personal win, it's a spiritual precedent. You have cracked open a new path for your lineage. The generations to come will face fewer barriers and inherit a legacy of freedom and truth because you dared to break the chains. The ancient cycles of deception that held your ancestors captive are now permanently destroyed. What your adversaries believed would be your destruction has become the cornerstone of your elevation. Think of Viktor Frankl, who transformed the horrors of his captivity into the foundation for a global philosophy of hope and purpose. His deepest suffering became his greatest gift to the world. In the same way, what was meant to bury you has become the soil from which your greatest blessings have blossomed. Your enemies never saw this coming. Their narrow vision blinded them to the cosmic consequences of obstructing your rightful place. What they thought was their temporary triumph has instead become their irreversible defeat. The momentum of your manifestation phase now accelerates with unstoppable force. Resources multiply beyond logical explanation. Opportunities align effortlessly. Your influence expands organically. Your protection strengthens automatically. The universe delivers nothing half-formed. Every aspect of your restoration is complete and overflowing. You do not just recover what was stolen, you also receive everything you would have built, created, and attracted if no theft had ever occurred. Your role now is simple yet profound: to receive without resistance, to accept without guilt, and to allow the universal forces to orchestrate every detail of your complete, radiant restoration. Psalm 126, 5-6 promises, "Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them." The legal verdict is only the final human stamp on what heaven had already resolved long ago. What belonged to you has returned. What was hidden has been unveiled. What was stolen has been restored with divine interest. Victory was always written into your story. The only question was the timing. Now, with this ruling, The visible proof of invisible justice stands undeniable before the world. Can you feel the power rising inside you, chosen one? Can you see how every moment led you precisely here? Step into it fully. The kingdom has been waiting. The universe has already celebrated, and now it's your turn to live it. Now, chosen one, you are free, you are victorious, you are restored and elevated beyond anything you could have imagined. Your future stretches before you like an endless horizon, shimmering with divine possibility, completely unbound and unrestricted. Can you feel the sacred weight of that freedom settling into your spirit? This is your inheritance, your birthright, your divine promise fulfilled. That's all for today's message. But before we close, I invite you to join me in this final prayer. Dear Father, I pray for the deepening of my faith. Strengthen my trust in you, even when physical evidence is absent and the path ahead seems uncertain. Teach me to rest in the knowledge that your plans for me are always good, plans to prosper me and not to harm me, to give me hope and a glorious future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always hearing my voice and for the unending love you pour into my life. I offer this prayer to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your unconditional love, for your unwavering provision, and for guiding me through every valley and victory. I am eternally grateful for your presence in my life and for the abundance you continue to bring. Family, if this message resonated deeply with your soul and you feel led to support this sacred work, you can send a gift through Super Thanks. The link is below. Whether you choose to give or not, please know from the depths of my heart that I am beyond grateful for each and every one of you. Your presence here, your energy, your openness, that alone is a priceless gift. If you feel this powerful shift within you, type "I am free" in the comments as a prophetic declaration over your life. Let the universe and all of heaven see your agreement with this new season of limitless expansion. Please don't stop here. If today's message lit a fire within you, I encourage you to watch our next video where we go even deeper into the revelations and signs that confirm you are truly God's chosen one. Thank you for walking this transformative spiritual journey with us. Thank you for staying until the end, for opening your heart, and for standing in your light. Keep shining brightly. Walk boldly into your destiny. Embrace every miracle that is unfolding before you. Until next time, may blessings overflow in every area of your life. May your spirit remain strong, your path clear, and your joy unshakable. Sending love, light, and divine favor to each and every beautiful soul watching. See you soon, chosen one.